So when I was a kid, I loved to daydream because it was a way to escape from my problems and just immediately get happy, get high by fantasizing about myself playing some heroic role. And so these habits start out as adaptive. They work for us. And then after a while they become maladaptive because we're spending way too much time in daydreaming and not enough time in reality. And I see that all around me. It exhibits itself in vagueness. I see people forgetting important appointments. I see people not bouncing checks. I see people just forgetting to live up to their responsibilities, their obligations, even if it's just in a volunteer capacity. And these are all flashing yellow lights, if not flashing red lights, because vagueness can kill you. If you don't put all the bolts back on your tires after you change them, your wheel can come off. So debting is a disease of vagueness, under-earning is a disease of vagueness, underachieving is a disease of vagueness, hiding and isolating and fighting other people, these are often diseases of vagueness. We're vague so that we don't have to face up to reality, so that we don't have to participate in life as much as other people. And I just see these cycles where people do the same task over and over again because they forgot that they did it the first time. They forgot that they assigned it to another person. Or just carelessness and you get injured. Carelessness and you burn out your engine because you didn't change your oil. And on the other hand, I meet these high achievers who've never gotten a parking ticket, never gotten a moving violation ticket, because they're precise. They know their details. So it starts out with we're unhappy kids, we don't connect normally with others, and as the saying goes in 12-step, if you punch a hole in a child's soul, you created an addict for life. And that can be just excessive verbal abuse, physical abuse, just a lack of safety, a lack of consistency, generally speaking, so the kid just doesn't know what to expect. You know, one moment the parent will be angry, the next moment the parent will be loving. One moment the parent is paying attention, and then for days on end there's just radio silence for the parent. So these things can just punch a hole in a kid's soul. And thank you, I'm told I look like a young Pope Benedict today. So these things can punch a hole in your soul, and then to deal with that, you let all sorts of instincts just get out of whack because you find reality too painful. And it kind of works for a while. Like people who are painfully shy, they take up alcohol, and suddenly they're not painfully shy anymore. People who don't know how to dance, they take up alcohol, and suddenly they know how to dance. People too frightened to approach a girl, drink some alcohol, gives them the courage to go do the things that they otherwise could not do. And so that's how our addictions take off. They give us the courage to do these things that we couldn't otherwise do. They start out by working, and then they leave us in chains, and they leave us in a prison. And so, what's the way out of this maladaptive daydreaming? I remember it was a few years ago. I think it was in therapy. I think I was talking, possibly in therapy somewhere else. I think either I was talking about my habit of spending a lot of time in daydreaming, and I heard this great phrase, maladaptive daydreaming. I was so excited. I contacted my brother and said, hey, I found a new mental illness that I've got. Maladaptive daydreaming. So that's when you spend too much time daydreaming instead of doing your job, okay? If I'm daydreaming when I'm trying to teach an Alexander technique lesson, I'm not going to give a very good lesson. If I'm daydreaming when I'm streaming, probably not going to give a very good YouTube stream. If I'm daydreaming excessively when I'm driving, I'm much more likely to get into an accident. So maladaptive daydreaming is a way of just being vague and checking out of life. And if you're spending a lot of time in fantasy so that your real life isn't working, that's a problem. And it will start because your real life isn't working. So the more your life doesn't work, the more incentive you'll have to spend your time daydreaming and fantasizing and play acting and imagining yourself as a great person, and trying to find in, say, sex, all the power that you can't find in reality, or try to find through alcohol or crystal meth or gambling, all the power that you lack in reality. So, how do you climb out of maladaptive daydreaming? Okay, so maladaptive means it's hurting your life. Okay, it's fine to daydream, it's fine to drink, it's fine to have sex. There are all sorts of things that are absolutely fine to partake in until they start hurting your life. I gotta change lanes here. So, it doesn't matter that you daydream when you drive, or that you even daydream at work. It matters if it starts hurting your life, okay? If you're not getting your job done so that your work performance suffers, then it's maladaptive. It's not adaptive. It's not helping you. If you're wasting your time daydreaming when you could be doing something concrete, okay, then it's maladaptive. If you're getting into car accidents because you're not paying attention to the road, then it's maladaptive. So how do we climb back out of maladaptive daydreaming, out of vagueness, out of hiding? And there are some tools. And tool number one is accountability. Like having an action partner, someone that you check in with every day, and you might just share plans for your day, like what's on your schedule for the day, what do you hope to accomplish today, and you just check in. Might take 5 minutes all told. So that's a way of coming out of vagueness into reality, because even though we may all be crazy on this stream, maybe every one of us on this stream right now, every one of us arrived here on the wings of failure and humiliation rather than the wings of victory. So having an action partner, someone that you can check in with about your schedule every day, belonging to a community that holds you accountable, taking some kind of position in your community, voluntary position, to be a treasurer, or to be the setup and cleanup guy, or to help put together the food or put out the food, or arrange a meeting. Like just taking some kind of volunteer position where your group is going to have a need to hold you accountable. That's one way to come out of vagueness and out of hiding and out of maladaptive daydreaming. That's helped me. So I was helped by having an action partner. I was helped by making program calls, calling other people in my 12-step program, and getting some of their experience, strength, and hope, and sharing some of my own. Because even if we're all crazy in different ways. So we can all see something that the other person is missing and help each other out. Another tool that is the opposite of vagueness is clarity. So if you're a sex addict, what are behaviors that you can participate in that are just rock solid, guaranteed healthy? You can go to meetings, you can work the 12 steps with a sponsor, you can make program calls, you can do volunteer work in your program, you can work hard at your job, you can take up healthy hobbies, reading, learn a foreign language, exercise, you can participate in a religion, you can take communal positions, volunteer positions. These are all really healthy ways to come out of vagueness that have helped me. Like I've started volunteering a lot more, like giving my time to the community, make the community a better place. People hold me accountable, and I show up. Whenever I commit to something, I show up. Unless I'm very sick, and then as soon as I'm sick and I see I'm not going to show up, then I give word. As soon as if I can't make a lunch meeting or a coffee meeting or any appointment, I let people know right away. It's a good way of coming out of vagueness. Then accountability, a group, belonging to a group, developing connections with a group. And when you do that, people will see that you have certain strengths in addition to certain weaknesses, and people will naturally turn to you in your areas of expertise. And you will naturally get to know other people, turn to them in their areas of expertise. So you may have a guy who's been in AA for years. He doesn't go to meetings anymore. He's got a rock solid AA recovery, but he still wants to give back. So if he's, say, an accountant, he will give back and help recovering alcoholics get their finances in gear. And so if he did that in a reckless way, of course, he'd be called out for it. So that's a way of coming out of vagueness into the light, being visible. And another tool that I found helpful is time tracking. You just write down what you're doing and then transition that into time planning. And tracking your spending, tracking your earning, and then transition that into a spending plan. But the tools, to me, is secondary to the steps, to working the recovery, to taking an inventory of all your resentments, what role you've played in these negative interactions. And the big tip-off that you got some work to do is if there's someone you don't want to face. If there's someone that you see in a supermarket and you want to walk the other way, that probably means you owe that person an amends. Okay, there's someone you can't face, likely means you owe that person an amends. So we have to clean up the wreckage of the past. When we do that, a lot of these problems just start melting away because we have an accurate sense of ourselves. It's not that we take, a low opinion of ourselves. It's not that we denigrate ourselves, but we just naturally start to have an accurate opinion of ourselves. Okay? I'm somebody who can talk. Okay? I'm a free talker. I got the gift of the gab. That's an accurate perception of myself. If I was to say I'm an amazing actor, I don't have any foundation for that. Okay? I don't have a body of work And I'm not at all sure that I even have the skills to make such a claim. Now, I think I could be a decent actor, but I don't have any basis for that. So if I'm absolutely convinced I'm a great actor, that's probably a delusion. Okay, if I became convinced that I'm a great financial planner, that would be a delusion, because I'm 52 years old and I have nothing saved for retirement. If I was to have the opinion that I'm amazing at Krav Maga, that's Israeli self-defense, that would be a delusion. I've taken Krav Maga classes, but I'm far from amazing. Okay, if I've never had any athletic success. Never. I was usually about middle of the group for being picked to participate. You know, when we would pick teams. I was about middle. So thinking about athletic success, total delusion. Krav Maga doesn't work in real life. Beg to differ, my friend. You should just see the bodies littered on the pavement that I've left behind. All in for a holy cause. On the other hand, I have the ability to get along with a wide variety of people. I'm a pretty good interviewer, and I can talk to a wide variety of people, and so that's an accurate perception of myself. I keep my car, I keep my room reasonably tidy for a straight guy, but it's not meticulous. Okay, I'm not meticulously neat. So that would be a delusion if I thought of myself as meticulously neat. So anyway, when things start going wrong in my life, I just always go back to the fundamentals. Okay, am I living up to my obligations in my foundational earning gigs? Like, am I keeping my clients happy? That's really important. Am I taking care of my health? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I getting enough exercise? Am I eating right? Am I on a 12-step meeting every day? Am I talking to people in the program? Am I avoiding needless conflict with other people? Am I staying away from taunting people in real life who are very likely to hurt me in response? Am I getting along with other people to the best extent possible? That is perhaps the very best measure of recovery. If you're getting along with people, you're doing a lot of things right. And recovery means that we want to get along with people to the best extent possible. Luke has the ability to regularly attract an Austrian guy watching his program. That is something. So Trivium says, this is all well and good, Luke, but why do you always talk about the same thing? I guess I talk about the things that are on my mind because I see these problems all around me. Maladaptive daydreaming. I just saw examples of it. Someone missing an important appointment with a very important person simply because he was vague. He didn't write it down. He didn't have it calendared. People missing tax deadlines, people bouncing checks, people not living up to their obligations, people not making appointments, people unnecessarily blowing up relationships with other people. I just see that all around me. It's front and center in my mind. So that's why I'm talking about it. Bye-bye.